Hey guys, are you a fan of Mega Man? Well, check out my book, Fight Mega Man for Everlasting Peace of Volume 1, which actually covers Mega Man 1 through 11 and Mega Man and Base. It has reviews, retrospectives, Robot Master lists, and a lot more. And if you purchase the physical version from Amazon, you get the Kindle version completely for free. It's one hell of a bargain, so don't miss out and click on the link below to buy your book. Take care, Mega friends. Hey guys, Ryan here, broadcasting all the way from the popcorn rocket here in space for awesome video game memories, and we are here to talk about the Starfox series on the Super Nintendo, Starfox 1 and 2, which actually came out on the Super Nintendo Mini. Enjoy. Do a barrel roll! Welcome to Awesome Video Game Memories, where we talk about awesome memories about video games. I'm Ryan, and the game we're going to talk about today is Starfox! Oh wait, wrong theme. So yeah, Starfox for the Super Nintendo. Man, one of the most iconic games ever released on the system and the very first of the Super FX series. Now I remember back in 1993 when I was in the 6th grade, man, seeing Starfox in magazines, like seeing that commercial that looked like Star Wars, I was like, whoa man, this game looks really awesome. And I distinctly remember back in 1993, I went to a Fedco, and if you know what Fedco is, you're old school, but for those who don't know, Fedco is basically Target nowadays. I saw a whole line of kids trying to play the Starfox competition cart, and I remember waiting in that line, and then I was almost there. I was like 2 people away, and then my dad goes like, Ryan, we gotta go now. I'm like, I want to play Starfox. It's like available on the competition. No, we gotta go now. But not to worry though, a couple of weeks later in May of 1993, I rented the game from my Ma and Pa game shop, and I can't recall what the exact date in 1993 was, but I always consider that the best Friday of the year because that's when I rented Starfox. Although subsequent years haven't been as great to me. So Starfox is pretty much an on-rails arcade-type shoot-'em-up where you control Fox McCloud and the Starfox crew trying to battle the evil Andross who's trying to take over Corneria after he's been banished from it for his evil experiments. That damn dirty ape! I think I need to plaster this review with Planet of the Apes jokes. No, I won't. Now, for today's standards, these polygonal Super FX graphics are pretty primitive, but back in 1993, man, like, this shit was like the new hotness. Like, this was out of this world. I was like, oh man, like, no graphics are gonna be better than this. This is like 128-bit right here, man, in the 16-bit era. Yeah, because when you start the game, man, and seeing that sequence of them just flying out of the base, 3 hidden pilots, prepare for launch, I'm like, wow. Like, those graphics were like state of the art back in 1993. And actually, in all honesty, they're still really good today if you look at it from more of a retro point of view. It's pretty amazing what the SNES was able to handle back in the day. So you control Fox McCloud and the Starfox crew as you have to choose between 3 paths in order to get to Andross's base on the planet of Venom. Now, the middle path is the easy path. The top path is the normal path, and the bottom path is the hard path. And I do recommend definitely starting off with the easy path first because, well, obviously it's the easy path, and in my opinion, it's the most fun path. So basically, the gameplay consists of you piloting an R-Wing. You can get like power-ups like a twin blaster, and then you can get Nova bombs. You can use your brake, you can use your boost to avoid enemies, and yeah, all of this polygonal graphics, man, like this was state-of-the-art back in the day. Like, all you youngins are like, man, that looks like so primitive and lame. Like, I made that in my my geometry project. Sit the down now, man. This was the shit back in the day, man. Like, oh my god, yeah, back in my day, we used the Super FX chip for these polygonal games. You youngins have it easy with your, vector graphics and dev kits and your Unreal Engine 4. Sorry I get a little defensive about Starfox, because it's a game so close to my heart, and if anyone bashes it like IGN, I'm gonna... Sorry about that. I just needed to calm down, because Starfox is one of the greatest games of all time, and if anyone talks shit about it, man, I'm gonna like... Okay. We're getting back to the review now. Okay, I'm sorry for the outburst, but all these young gamers trying to bash Starfox is like... So as Fox McCloud, the leader of the Starfox team, you control a team consisting of Falco Lombardi, your heated rival, Peppy Hare, who used to fly alongside your father, and Slippy Toad. Need I say more? Slippy Toad! And occasionally on the battlefield, your allies will fight scripted enemies which you don't even have to do anything about, or they'll get chased by enemies which you kinda have to do something about. You gotta make sure that you rescue your wingmen just in time, or else they'll lose some life. And if your wingmen lose their lives, you won't see them in the ending. Press F to pay respects. Oh wait, there's no F button on the SNES. And actually what I love about this game, what brings out so much of the charm is the speech. You get clear speech, at certain parts, but then you get the gibberish speech. What'd you say about my mother? So depending on which path you take, the bosses range from being moderately challenging to really, really hard. The first path, the bosses aren't too difficult, but when you take the second path, the bosses, especially once you get to Titania, get pretty difficult, and the third path is when the bosses get really, really difficult. Yeah, I remember the Great Commander Gunship on Venom, that motherfucker was hard. And speaking of the levels, you have a really, really good variety of levels in this game. You get planet levels on Corneria, Titania, Fortuna. Oh yeah, Fortuna is a very, very beautiful planet. Macbeth and Venom. And then you get these really awesome space levels, obviously asteroid belts. You get Sector Y, Sector X. But my personal favorite level in the game is the Space Armada from the first path. This is something out of a Star Wars movie. You're taking down Andross's fleet, you're going inside ships, taking down the cores, and I just love killing these fat shuttles. It's just so cool shooting them and seeing them die, man. I don't know, it's just so cool just pumping those fat shuttles up with lasers, man. And also, you might have noticed this thing called the black hole on the map screen. Now, in order to access the black hole on the first asteroid level, you pretty much have to kind of destroy one of the asteroids right at the last second, then you get warped to the black hole. And from what I heard, Starfox's father, James McCloud, is trapped in that black hole, but you get to see all these crazy ships, and then you can warp across the game. And of course, there's another hidden level, Out of This World, which is activated by taking the third path and destroying a meteorite, and then you get warped to this crazy-ass world filled woo, it's like the circus in space. And then the final boss of it is a slot machine. And then after that, you're stuck until you reset the game. This is truly Out of This World. And then once you get to Andross, the final boss, and depending on which path you take, he's gonna say different things. On the third path, he definitely talks a lot about your father, which is greatly expanded in Starfox 64. And then the final battle with Andross is a gigantic polygonal mask, and he sucks in Yep, he pukes out a whole bunch of squares at you, but you gotta shoot at his eyes, and then you have to defeat the Andross Rubik's Cube. But hold on the third path, the mask turns into a devil! Which is definitely more difficult to beat than the previous two paths, but definitely a very, very fun challenge. And so once you beat Andross, you finish the game, you get a score at the end, but I have never been able to beat this game at 100%. The closest I ever got to was on the third path, I got 99%. Like, I can never beat this game 100%. For some reason, I keep missing that one enemy here and there. I mean, I swear, I shoot everything. And also, depending on how many levels you went through, you get to see like schematics of the bosses that you fought, and I just love that music, man. Like, that music is just so awesome, so inspiring. But if you use the black hole to kind of skip the game, you don't get to listen to much of the music. So I recommend, just play the black hole for fun, but beat the game on the normal paths, to see the full, complete endings. And because of the 3 paths, you get to see like different bosses depending on which path you beat. So man, Starfox for the Super Nintendo, man. I cannot say enough good things about this game. Like, this is one of my personal favorite games of all time, even more than Starfox 64. Now, don't get me wrong, Starfox 64 is a fantastic game. A really, really good retelling of the first game, but I still prefer Starfox 1 because it just had that charm of the Super Effects chip on the Super Nintendo. I mean, all those polygonal graphics just gave it so much of a charm, like you didn't think the SNES was even capable of doing that. And, I especially love, the gibberish, like blah, 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 blah. It makes you use your imagination more. Like, like these big blocks are trying to be buildings, or you think this big blockosaurus thing is a dragon, but you use your imagination to believe that, yeah, this is a dragon, this is a city, this is buildings. Like, what I love about the original Starfox, with its polygonal graphics, it really makes you use your imagination to, just put you into the game. Well, unfortunately, Starfox was never released on any virtual consoles, but you can actually get Starfox on the Super Nintendo Classic Mini. Granted, you can buy one, but don't worry, Nintendo says they are going to make a lot more of these. Welcome to Awesome Video Game Memories, where we talk about awesome memories about video games. I'm Ryan, and the game we're going to talk about today is Starfox 2! Oh my god, it's actually out! It's out on the SNES Mini! Right here! Oh my god! So man, Starfox 2. I remember back in 1995, during the summer of my 8th grade, before I went into high school, I remember seeing the preview in Nintendo Power and being like, oh my god, Starfox 2 is coming out, it's gonna be amazing sauce! And then it never came out. But I do remember back as early as the year 2000, I think that's when I first played one of the leaked Starfox 2 beta ROMs, and from what I recall, it was just like one level that you got to play, and as the years went by, the Starfox 2 beta ROMs had there was one that had one level, there was one that had a space level, there was one that had a walker level, and then there was one inside one of the bases. But it was never truly a complete game until pretty recently, like some hackers finally got the completed ROM and translated it, and most people were able to play it. Although it's kind of weird, like, I did play the translated complete ROM, but I never finished it for some reason. I don't know why. I got as far as Venom, and then I was like, okay, I'll play this later. Never picked it up again. I don't know why I did that. I must be stupid. Because technically, back in 1995, the game was complete. It was done. From what I heard, yes, the game was completed. It was completely ready to go. Like, they ironed out all the bugs, they did all the QA testing, but because the N64 was on the horizon, Nintendo was like, no, we're not going to release Starfox 2. Sorry. Yeah, I think it's a common problem. Nintendo just doesn't like money. Because in all honesty, if this game came out in 1995 or 1996, this game would have sold hotcakes, man. Like, that could have been extra money to go into Nintendo 64 development, man. Like, the game was already completed. Like, all you just needed to do was, just put it on cartridges, make the boxes, yeah, you probably had to spend a couple $1 million doing that and put it into stores, but still, this game would have sold hotcakes. I probably would have had, 10 copies by now. But yeah, so in 2017, we finally, after 22 years after its completion, Starfox 2 is out on the Super NES Mini. And let me tell you, it is amazing. Granted, you can get a Super NES Mini. But don't worry, Nintendo says they're making more. Promise, pinky promise. So Starfox 2 continues where the first Starfox left off, but this time Andros wants revenge once again on Corneria for his defeat in the first game. So basically in the first game he wants revenge on Corneria because they banished him, but now he wants revenge on Corneria for defeating him, so he wants revenge 2 times. So that's why, Star Fox 2, 2 times the revenge. And like they say, revenge is a dish best served cold. Or with barrel rolls. Sorry, that joke was lame, I'm sorry. But this time, Star Fox 2 takes a bit of a different path than its predecessor. This time you actually have free reign on the map. But, however, Andross's forces are firing missiles at Corneria, and if Corneria gets hit too many times, well, basically 10 times, because, each missile does 10 damage, and you can only take 100% damage, yeah, Corneria falls. So basically, you pretty much have to decide between stopping Andross's missiles, or his fleet that shoots missiles, or his occupied planets that shoot missiles, before Corneria is completely destroyed. And a lot of these mechanics were adapted into Star Fox Command on the DS. In the first game, you were only able to control Fox McCloud, but this time you can control Falco Lombardi, Peppy Hare, Slippy Toad, and 2 new characters, Miu and Faye, who never appear in another Star Fox game, ever. And besides having your first player, you get to select a wingman. Now, Falco is good for dogfights, and Slippy and Peppy are better for kind of like long range, and also Miu and Faye have their own abilities, but I mostly stuck with Fox and Falco for the most part. So the level structure in Star Fox 2 is a lot different than the level structure in Star Fox 1, where in Star Fox 1 you had long linear levels where you pretty much had to go from the beginning to end, you fight the boss at the end, but this time in Star Fox 2 you're kind of confined to small sections where it's more combat based rather than exploration based. So unfortunately you don't get to see a lot of the pretty sights this time because the game is definitely a lot more combat focused. And you can actually beat these levels pretty fast, like within 5 minutes, 1 minute. And because the game runs in real time, you have to beat these levels within a certain time limit, or else those missiles are going to hit Corneria. So don't spend too long trying to beat a certain level. Well, it's kind of impossible since the levels are pretty short. And even though it's pretty cool, you get to see planets like Corneria, Macbeth, Titania, and so on, you don't get to explore them that much since they're more of occupied planets that have bases where Andross shoots his missiles from. So you have to just destroy the core of those bases and just pretty much leave. And like most people, I thought the Star Wolf team originated from Star Fox 64, but they actually originated in this game, and you actually get to fight the Star Wolf team at various intervals throughout the game. And also one of the new gameplay mechanics is, you get to actually transform your R-Wing into a walker, which they adopted into Star Fox 64, with the Landmaster tanks. And controlling the walker is actually a breeze because the walker doesn't go forward all the time, so you're not going to be crashing into a lot of walls, and it actually auto-aims for you, which is actually really cool. And also on the map screen, you have your mothership. Now, if you are low on shields, you actually barely get any shield power-ups in the levels, but you do get a lot, pretty much closer to the end of the game. You can go back to the mothership, refill your shields, then head out to battle, and you can actually transport your mothership onto different planets after you've destroyed Andross's bases there, so you're a bit closer to the impeding threats. And so once you've cleared all the missiles, you've cleared all of Andross's armadas, you've cleared all the occupied planets, you actually don't go to Venom this time, you actually get to go to Andross's base, and you do get to explore a little bit. You have to press buttons to open doors, and you see a map on the top right. And then the final battle with Andross, in my opinion, is a bit underwhelming compared to the first Star Fox. He's just this, circle mask thing. He doesn't look or he doesn't turn into the devil mask like in the previous game. And so once you beat Andross, you get your final score, and then it's saved to a record. And then after that, you can play on hard mode, where the missiles are a lot faster, the enemies are a lot more aggressive, and then once you beat hard mode, you can play on expert mode, where obviously, yes, everything's gonna come right at you, and you really have to decide whether I'm gonna destroy this missile, or I'm gonna destroy this fleet, or I'm gonna destroy this occupied planet. So in all honesty, I kind of prefer the first Star Fox because I kind of felt it was definitely a lot longer, definitely had a lot more variety, but don't get me wrong, Star Fox 2 is definitely a fantastic game, definitely worth the 22-year wait, and it does have a lot of its own charms. Well, first of all, I'd like to say yes, there is a lot of replay value because it's actually randomized how Andross, dispatches his armadas and his taken over planets. You might get to fight on Titania one playthrough, but you might not on the second playthrough, and it does encourage you to play it multiple times to see how the entire game is. And man, that Maraud's dragon looks great. Even if it's a whole bunch of piles of blocks. But hey, these graphics look great back in the day. And yes, we need to completely address the completely ignorant IGN review, which gave the game 5 out of 10. Like, what the hell, man? IGN, I think you really need to not hire kids born in the 2000s on your staff writing articles about retro games. Just saying, like, I think your interview process is a little too lax at the moment. Well, like they said, you can't spell ignorant without IGN. So yeah, unfortunately, Starfox 2 was never released back in the day, but like I said before, Starfox 2 is available on the SNES Mini. But you have to beat the first level of Starfox 1 in order to unlock it. And when you do unlock it, man, it like treats it like you've unlocked this massive achievement. It's like a present. Yay! Starfox 2 is available. Like, they make you feel so special for unlocking this awesome 22-year-old game. Well, even though I prefer Starfox 1 a lot more because I feel like it's the more polished game and it definitely gives you the more bang for your buck, Starfox 2 is definitely a game that I wish really came out back in the day, and I'm very happy it's out on the SNES Mini. And you can definitely get it on the SNES Mini, granted you can get one, but hey, don't worry, Nintendo says they're going to be making a lot more SNES Mini because fuck scalpers! Fuck them! Hey everybody, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, especially subscribe, and make sure to click on that notification bell so you know when we release new videos, because YouTube's probably not going to tell you. And if you want to see me play games live, make sure to follow me at twitch.tv/BattleGeekPlus, and if you have a Twitch Prime account, make sure to subscribe so you can get awesome perks like subscriber badges and much more. And if you want to support us, make sure to support us on patreon.com/Ryan Molina, because every dollar helps me bring you a better show. And also make sure to follow me on Twitter at @RyanMolina and at BattleGeekPlus. And also make sure to check out the official Battle Geek Plus website for a complete listing of our books, merchandise, t-shirts, and a lot more. Alright, thanks for watching this video, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out these other videos right here. Thanks and take care.